In the math book this week, we are going to finish up chapter 9, sorting by shape and sorting by count, so that the following week we can move on to chapter 10, position. So where we left off, we're on page 559. Sorry about the shadow there. And again, it's more sorting by shape. So they say to use red of two different shapes. And you can, since you can improvise there, it doesn't have to be red, it doesn't matter. You just find some different objects that are all the same color. I grabbed Nathan's Legos here, and again, you would sort them by shape. So I'm gonna put the squares over here and the rectangles over here, and then trace and draw them so they'll look something like this. So here's my crude drawings, but you get the point. Then on the back, it says, look at the shape in the bag and to sort the shapes in the group and to trace circles around the shapes that belong in the bag. That's what you do in number 1. So the example has been done for you. So the shape in the bag is a rectangle, and we're sorting by shape now, so we don't care about color. So they've already done it for you. Just trace all the circles because those are all rectangles, and it doesn't matter about the size or the color. We're sorting by shape. Same thing over here for number 2 in the bag are triangles. So we're gonna circle all the triangles. So there, there, and there. Again, the size and the color are not important. These ones are squares, so we're gonna circle all the squares there, not the rectangles, because in the bag was a square. Same thing on page 561, circles. So you're gonna circle all the circles. Square, so even the square turns sideways. Now they might say, wait, it's a diamond, but if you show them, well, if you turn it that way, it's a square. So same thing, 3 squares, triangles. Circle all the ones that are triangles, just like on that. The back is a coloring page. It says sort the shapes, and you're gonna color all the circles red, the rectangles orange, and the squares green, and the triangles blue. So if you don't have any of those colors, feel free to improvise. I'll do a couple of them right now. Hold on. So here's a start here. I got my circles red and my triangles blue, and I would still need to do the rectangles orange and the squares green. Again, feel free to change those colors if you'd like. On page 563, again, what shape's in the bag? Oh, a square, and you circle all the squares. So same thing, circle is in the bag here, so I circle the circles. Rectangles there, and again, it doesn't matter if the rectangle is sideways or horizontal or vertical, straight up and down, that is fine. And same thing for number 4 on the back, circle the triangles. Shapes are getting a little bit funky looking now, that's okay. For number 5, the instructions are at the bottom. It says, look at the shapes in the red box and color the shapes below to match. So here's the red box. So basically it's you're coloring purple, so that circle would be purple. The square here would be red. This triangle would be green. You just match it. Page 565, it says use small attribute buttons. Place 4 squares and 3 circles and 3 triangles randomly on the plate. So again, you don't have to use buttons. You could use just about anything like Legos or whatever. It does say that they should all be the same color because we're gonna sort by shape like we did before with the Legos. I better grab something else and I'll be right back and show you what I come up with. Okay, so I was tired of looking for Legos, so I decided to just grab a piece of construction paper and cut my own, put them on the plate, and have the kids sort them like this. Mine didn't really fit on the plate very well, and then you would ask the kids to sort them by shape, and they would come up with something like this. Okay, what are these? Oh, I sorted them here because the rectangles, I put all the triangles in the middle, and I put the circles down at the bottom. So something like that. On the back of the page, you've got a recycling bin and a bunch of bottles. And for the first one, you just trace over the X's, and then you would ask the kids, why do these all have X's? Oh, well, they're groups of 4. So they sorted them by groups of 4 and groups of 3, and they X the group of 4. So on the bottom, it says count the juice boxes in each group, sort the juice boxes by count, draw X's to show how you sorted. So there's groups of 3 and groups of 4. It doesn't matter which one they choose. Maybe they'll choose, oh, I'm going to X all the ones that have 3. As long as they do something like that and they know, oh, I X the ones that are in groups of 3, not the ones in groups of 4, then they'll know. Same thing on this side. The kids decide how they want to X it. Maybe they'll do this. Oh, I X the light bulbs that are in groups of 2. And maybe they'll do this. I X the water bottles that are in groups of 4, not the ones in groups of 2. Just like that. On the final page, 568, it's the same thing, just with some real food-looking items. So they decide, okay, which ones are you going to X? Make sure that they are the same in each group. So maybe they'll X, I X'd the ketchup and the cereal because they were in groups of 2. Whereas the bread, the tomato, and the corn are in groups of 3. And the fruit cup appears to be in groups of 6. So they could, or maybe they're counting them as 3 stacks. So it's up to you how you want to do it. We're going to skip over the next few pages, 1, 2, 3. You can cover them if you want to, but we need to move on to chapter 10. It's the same thing. You're just grouping and Xing over there and sorting by shapes and sizes, just kind of review of everything. If you have any problems with it, you can email me. But next week we will start chapter 10, positions.